Hi family, welcome back to Relationship Talks Vicky. Today we are talking about something that will save you from a lot of unnecessary heartbreak if you're honest enough to hear it. You can tell when a man wants marriage, but you can also tell when he's just talking about it. And those two things are not the same, because talking about marriage is easy. Anyone can say, I am ready. Anyone can quote scripture, talk about purpose, talk about building a home. But readiness shows up in how a man lives when nobody is asking him to prove anything. So if you're trying to discern a man, don't just listen to what he says. Watch how he lives. One of the clearest signs a man is ready for marriage is that he is already consistent without being monitored. Nobody is chasing him to do the right thing. Nobody is reminding him to grow. Nobody is managing his discipline for him. He prays because he wants to. He works because he understands responsibility. He shows up because it's part of his character, not because he's trying to impress you. Because the truth is, marriage doesn't create discipline, it reveals it. And if a man needs pressure to be consistent now, he will need pressure to lead later. Another thing you will notice that he takes responsibility without shifting blame. You don't have to drag apologies out of him. You don't have to over-explain, why something hurts you just to be heard. He may not always get it right, but he doesn't hide from accountability. And that matters because a man who cannot take responsibility will build a marriage where everything becomes your fault. But a man who is ready, he owns his mistakes, he corrects himself, and he grows. And you don't feel like you are raising him like his mom. Right? Another sign, and this one is quiet but very telling, is that he has direction. Even if he doesn't have everything figured out, readiness is not about having all the money or all the answers or being so rich. It's about knowing where you are going. There is a difference between a man who is building and a man who is drifting. A man who is building may not be there yet, but you can see movement, you can see intention, you can see decisions that aligns with his future. But a man who is drifting, everything is we will see. Everything is uncertain. Everything depends on how it feels in the moment. And you cannot build a stable future on unstable direction. Another thing, and I really want you to pay attention to this, is that he has a relationship with God that exists without you. This is something I always mention in every of my YouTube video. You're not the reason he prays. You're not the reason he goes to church. You're not the one who reminds him of scriptures. He already has a foundation, because if his relationship with God depends on you, then you are not his partner, you are his crutch. And over time, that becomes exhausting. A man who is ready for godly marriage has already met God for himself. And you are not introducing him to God. You are joining him in what God is already doing. And finally, one of the strongest signs is this: is intentional, not convenient. You don't feel like an option. You don't feel like something is figuring out slowly. There is clarity in how he approaches you. There is direction in how he speaks. There is consistency in how he shows up. You don't have to guess where you stand, because a man who is ready doesn't leave room for confusion. He understands the weight of what he is building. It shows that he is ready, right? And let me say this gently. You do not need a man who talks about being ready. You need a man whose life already reflects it. If this stirs something in you, don't ignore it. You don't need to rush a decision. You just need to be honest about what you're saying and what you have been excusing. Clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It comes from paying attention. And if this spoke to you, comment, I choose clarity. And if you know someone who needs this, send it to them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay connected. This is Relationship Talks with Vicky, and I will see you in the next one.